Alright, so I'm just going to build this component from scratch while I talk through it. The first thing that I did though is I prepared this by first uploading the 4 assets and then the inline logo, just in case that asset is different. But within Figma, there are these 4 assets, right? And then there's this logo. Now, we could probably just use the Gray Malin logo. In fact, I probably will just use that. But just in case, I wanted to see if, in case that asset needed some special spacing. But let's just build this as we go. The other thing of preparatory thing that I did is I couldn't find this color in our Tailwind system, so I just added it within. You can go to Tailwind config. I added a new pale blue color. We should probably normalize these so that they use like numbers so that we can really like reason about them better. But for now, I figured just give it a name that makes sense. Now, next, I will open up the photography PDP, and this really should be its own component, but just for my purposes of demonstration, I will just do this directly in the PDP. So, first thing we want is going to be an H2. We know it's going to basically say the Gray Malin difference, and that will have a paragraph directly beneath it. Let's go over here. You can always, on the Inspect tab in Figma, you can use the content pane and just click, and that'll copy immediately. So now we can go over here, and what's next? Now we have a row, so I'm just going to make a div that will eventually style into a row, and each of these items would be, I wonder if I can do that. Oh, you know what? This really shouldn't be a div. This should be an unordered list, because if we look at the designs, it kind of is. It's actually more of a numbered list. And even though we're not going to be styling it like a numbered list, I'd like for it to have semantic HTML. So let's do that. So this would be an OL, and then each line item, list item will contain the image followed by the text. So I'm just going to steal this. That honestly, we're probably not even going to use that, but and we can use the next image component. I'm not very good at working with the next image component, so I'm just going to use the native one, but I trust you to figure out the best way to use the next image component. These are in static, or no, public assets, image, GM, difference. I think it's just one, but maybe we can check that out. Oh, it's O1. O1.png. Alt. I actually don't think we need an alt because this is a descriptive this is an icon that accompanies descriptive text, so we don't really need an alternate thing, but it might yell at us if we don't have it, so it's very possible. Do not use images. I'm going to ignore that for now. So this wouldn't compile because of our linting rules, but I don't actually care. Then, and we might need an image wrapper, but I'm just going to stick with this for now. What was the text that we used? Unusual line terminators. Okay, so we're just going to use Gray Malin signature. Notice that I'm not doing the all caps because like that should be handled within CSS. We can say class name, and this is a Tailwind class called uppercase. So we're just going to repeat this process. You know, I don't think we should try to do anything fancy with making those markers CSS because I just want to complete this with just Tailwind classes. So even though it's a little bit of a cheat, I'm going to do small O1. I think the designs show O1, O2, O3, yeah. So this is a little redundant because we already have ordered list, but I'm just going to repeat that. Now I'm duplicating, and we're going to update these items and update this. Oh. Okay, and let me get that text. Fast shipping, quality times, expert printing. Quality what? Prints? Quality frames. And cool. And then the final bit of this component is questions by framing, which we can do as its own P. Once again, I don't like doing all caps in the text. I like to do that with styling. And then we visit our information page. I believe she put where this link should go. Maybe she didn't. But I know that this is going to go to the framing page. So let's just copy this text, and we'll use the link component from next. And I believe we still need to use an A within the link. In newer versions of Next.js, you don't have to do that, but we're still on version 11. So let's do that, and then I think the href goes here, and that'll go to framing, which I believe is framing.com/framing. Is that what it's called? Yeah, our framing. So it goes to this page. Cool. Why can't I use the link component? Yeah, I want you to import it. Did it not import? That's super annoying. Yeah, that's right. So now if we save this and go to the dev page, did I not save with the, oh, maybe the the href goes on the link, not the A. That's where. Okay. So now we're seeing kind of a grody version of it, which is great. Let's see, why are these images not working? I think it's because we don't need the public. Those are still not working. Let me go to the navigation. Primary navigation. Oh wow, this is so much stuff going on here. This is not. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, there we go. Navigation. Is that right? Top navigation bar. Desktop navigation. That's where I want to go. Take me there. Go to source navigation. GM logo link. which is this image ID small nav logo, GM logo lives here. Oh, you public assets image. That's super weird. Slash public. Oh, images. I bet that's it. PDP. Yep, that's it. Nice. Okay. So now that we have all the content in there, now it's Tailwind time. So the first thing we're going to do is use max width. Oh wait. The Tailwind search and my browser search look the same. So we're going to do something like this, where we set it to like 768. Let me take a look at Figma and see what the like width of this is. 670. So we're going to say use max width 2L in Tailwind to make this section have that. BG blue pale. We're going to say MX auto to give everything kind of have its auto. Actually, I'm going to put, yeah, MX auto and then PX. I'm going to give it just a little bit of padding so we can actually look at the mobile designs to see what the minimum amount of space that we need here. 26, which I believe is going to be, we can check this out, but PX 4 or whatever. Padding, let's just do add horizontal padding, PX8. I want to see the scale though. We want something close to like 26 pixels. So that'll be either PL6 or 7. So I'm going to do PX6, and that way, even at its smallest, it'll still work. We like to do mobile classes and then do large by using LG : to apply classes only on large devices. So we start from mobile and then work our way up. Let's look at the top. 42, 52. Always not consistent. Can't be. 47, 39. Wow, really different. So let's do like 44. No, we'll do PT12 to apply padding top of 12. PT12, and then I think we'll bring this back down to like PB10 on large PB10. So these will be applied only to large. And then let's take a look at the what we would do on any smaller devices. 42, so that's actually the same. This is bigger though, so what's the closest? Let's do 48. So I'll do, since we're already doing PT12, we can keep that since it's the same on mobile, and we're gonna actually just make it PY12. That way the PB10 is just an override that we do on desktop to make it match the designs, even though they're weird. So let's take a look at what that does for us. Great. I actually need to put an inner container, it looks like, because we want that all of the styles that I just applied to, except for the MX Auto and the PX and the max width. Those will go in the inner container. So let's say div dot here. I'll just make a div. Don't need to do anything fancy. Class name, and we'll steal these. Cool. I think I wanted the MX Auto, didn't I? MX Auto. Cool. Go up, tab. Save that. Take a look again. That's looking right. Just about the right size too. And now we're gonna have to center align everything. So first, let's take each of these and say class name text center, I believe. Is that right? Yep. Class name text center. And whenever you make this into its own component, you can probably get away with using these as like shared classes. On links, the class needs to be on the A tag. So class name text center. I think this is an inline element right now, so we need to make it a block element by typing in block. Great. And then let's start working on this. I'll do the font styling, but this is the really interesting part. We don't have any list items, so that's great. We have uppercase already. It looks like each of these items needs to be flexed into Flexbox, and as does the OL. So let's do this. Class name. I think I might do grid, actually. Grid and then grid calls 4 with a gap. Sorry, what's the gap between them right now? Like 110. Wow. Maybe I'll say I won't do columns. I will do flex, because flex, and we'll say space between, justify between, and each of these items is going to get the flex call, and I think that's it for now. And we'll be able to go here. Whoop. Did I get them all? Great. Let's take a look at it. Cool, that's fun. Those look good. Why are they all different image sizes? I guess we'll have to set like a max width on these of 100 pixels. Let's take a look at the Tailwind docs and see what max width is around 100 pixels. Oh, it's really not meant for elements, is it? Yeah, it's really meant for like sections of a page. So let's set just a width, which is closer. So let's do 6 rem, W24 on each of those images. So I can say, I actually think it's better to do, no, let's grab each of these and then say class name equals W24. Yeah, that should be just it. Cool. Each of those is flexing. Flex none. I think I want to like allow them to wrap so they don't do anything weird. Maybe on each of these items we say W min content. I don't think we shouldn't mess around with that. I'll have to think about that just for a bit. But we'll also be able to align the items centered. The naming of like flexbox alignments and justifications are very strange in Tailwind, so I usually have to look them up. But I think I've done it enough now that I remember. These are looking okay, but I just can't get them to be the same size. So I always struggle with how to make these not flex, like make the paragraphs not flex to their full size. Maybe it's on the paragraph itself that I need to put flex none so that it doesn't like behave like a flex item in the same way. It's feeling closer. I'm missing the uppercase. Oh, that's what it is. I guess this kind of works. It's a little messy, but got that job done. Let me just check what Tailwind says about flex none. Use flex none to prevent a flex item from growing or shrinking. Yeah, that's kind of what I want. Flex none uppercase, flex none uppercase. I might have to do some searching for how to solve that problem. Okay, so let's jump over to the H2s and get those styling. This is now actually an image. This is Gotham 325 doesn't really exist in our system, but we have size 22. Is there anything in our Tailwind that kind of looks like that? Let's go here. Tailwind config. Font size. 22 is what, like 1.375? Do we have, I think we have heading classes named. No, we don't. Okay, that's fine. I'm actually going to take a look at the PDP real quick. And just get where the photography details, what they use for their styling. I want the form. I want to see some of these heading. Photography inner title. Okay, text large, font normal, leading 6, font Gotham. Okay, cool. So we could just do that directly on here. Let's get into it. Text center, font Gotham. It's 22 pixels, so we said text 5, font let's say light. Is there light? I guess technically we could try the 325, but I don't think that actually exists. We can try it though, because that is what they're showing. What is this color? Do we have this color? No, of course we don't. I'm not doing that. So stuff like that, where the color is just like different, I don't think we need to adhere to that, because that's just different. It's just aberrant. Oh, I put the pie character in there. Okay, that's starting to look a little bit better. I think this is uppercase though, right? And there's a letter spacing 10%, letter spacing 30% letter spacing. That is too much. 30% is like 0.3 ems. So if I think our scale is in rems, so we just need to convert. Let's see. I'm sure we have letter spacing. Oh, we have ems. Great. So the closest we have is 0.25. So I'm gonna go over to photography PDP. While we're at it, we'll put uppercase in and letter spacing. What was it called? Oh, yeah, letter spacing. Tracking? Is that what we should say? Okay, let's try tracking. Does that work? Yeah, okay, great. So this already looks pretty good. I'm just gonna swap out the text now with the logo. And we're gonna say, I actually have, didn't I have like, logo link here? So I can actually just steal this. Small nav logo. Again, I'm not using the next image component because I hate it. I don't want to. And we'll input this. Image source equals this. We'll say class name. W what? Get the mask group so we can get the accurate size. 215. Let's go to Tailwind. Width. 215 is closest to, let's say, 208. W52. 52. Inline. Block. And we can give it MX2 just to give it some breathing room. Cool. Why? Maybe I just need to actually. Public assets images logo.svg. That should be right. Oh, I did it again. Leave out public. There we go. Let's do align baseline. That should bump up. Yep, so that looks pretty good. Yeah, it's kind of what they're doing anyway. It's nice. And what's the margin between this and 12? So I think that's MB3. So we can put MB3 on this heading. Now let's style that little paragraph. Now I'm going to use a shortcut here and go into the product info module because I know that they just copied this from that. I would bet money on that. Yes, they did. Okay, so let's open up the product info. I think it's product info module. Oh, actually, we have it right below, right above here. Let's go into that code and get the class for this. Uppercase, just font normal, text small, width full, text black callout. So let's steal basically all of these classes that are on the text here. I think that's going to be okay. Oh no, that's the button. I don't want the button. I want this stuff inside. Div, presentation. Oh, it's in here. Are there font things in here? Contents, expect. I can also kind of just inspect on the front end, can't I? We turned off right clicks on the site, so on the PDP, so that people would be less inclined to steal the imagery. So that's neat. Oh, we have a bunch of classes. MT8. Oh, interesting. Really doesn't seem like our classes are really doing anything. Description tab. Everything's kind of inheriting from somewhere higher up. Not super sure where. But just because I want to move faster, let's just act like those are the correct classes. I think there's a chance they are. So let's add these. Don't need uppercase, right? Nope. I don't want white space, no wrap. I want the text to wrap. I don't need to do any sort of flexbox stuff, but I think all of this stuff should be correct. Text black callout. The right color. All right. So we have this font looking quite a bit like the font above. I think the only problem with it is the letter spacing is more. Size 14, size 14. Yeah, it's really just the letter spacing is the only thing that I'm missing. So let's open up Tailwind config. What was the? This is 5%. In Figma we had 10%. So we're gonna get the point. Oh, we haven't used that once. That's really, really annoying. This is my 10%. 0.1. Okay. So I added the tracking 0.01 class so that we can get the same letter spacing as we were seeing in Figma. So now you should see that. So now the text is actually wrapping because I picked a max width that is slightly smaller than what they had in the designs, and they didn't account for wrapping. So I'm going to make my max width just a little bit bigger so that we can have all of these items on one line. So now let's check out how much space is between this and the next section. It's 24. So I can go in here and add MB3. I'm going to add MB6 to this. And now we're seeing that section. Last things we got to do is make it so that this text doesn't wrap and these take up equal space. That will force these to their own line. So let's see if I can do this. Go to the paragraph, and I'm going to say, instead of flex none, I might just try to do MW100 and MW full, and see if that makes it subservient to the, no, it doesn't. Okay, so I need to, first of all, do these actually have consistency? So 99, 100, 100, 100. Yeah, I guess they do. Let's see. I'm going to do that little bit of research. Prevent paragraph filling flexbox. This is such a weird one. Loading content cells. Change that to min width. Oh, interesting. I'm going to see if that works. Let's say, change this. These are flex items. So I'm going to try MW min W 0. Is that true? I'm just going to get it live because I don't really. You know what? White space pre-wrap. Let's see if that has any impact. White space, normal, white space, no wrap. Preserve new lines and spaces within the element, but don't wrap. Pre-line. Pre-wrap. I don't think those are right. Let's go back to researching. Okay, so I've done a little bit of investigating, and the problem with what I was doing is that I needed to do the flex adjustment on the list items. So now I've added flex 1 to each of them, and I just added MX Auto and Text Center to each of those paragraphs. And now we're getting those wrapping where they should. Turns out that fast shipping, at least we haven't done the font updates here. Those it doesn't wrap. It doesn't need to wrap, whereas it shows it in the designs as wrapping. So I guess with the letter spacing, it'll likely wrap. But let's get the gap between these, which is about 1 rem. Yeah, so I'm going to do 1 rem between each of them. And we can do that by going up to the flex item and going to gap. I think it's 4 for the 1 rem, and I think that's all we need there. Then I'm going to grab all of these and once again kind of add all of the font stuff that we need, which I think is basically all of this. We'll replace the uppercase. Text 5 was probably not what I need. I think text 5 is what I use for the heading, right? So I'm going to use everything else but the text 5. Let's grab this uppercase. Go. Don't need the uppercase here. Don't need the text 5. I think we need text small, or SM. Yeah, that's looking nice. Still not getting the wrapping that I was hoping for with fast shipping, but maybe I can say max W fit content, max W content, to see if that's right. Max W fit, max W fit, which is the fit content property. Nope. I think I might just hard code some line breaks in here. It's never going to be on a bigger than this one, so I think it's not the end of the world. Let's do fast PR, and I'll just put in a non-breaking space here so that we don't lose it. I think that's it. Yeah, let's just leave it. Okay, and on each of these line items, we can add, actually just on the ordered list, we can add the gap, which would be 35, so I believe that's going to be NB8, but we can check that in Tailwind. Margin, I think 8 is 32 pixels, yeah. So last bit, let's quickly grab all of the same classes for this, but we're just going to add font weight of bold. 350 doesn't seem to be working correctly, so we're going to do 500. So let me take these, copy them into this paragraph, font Gotham, font 500. Font, what is available to me? Tailwind config. Font weight. That is not the only font weight that I have. I guess we're extending the font weight, aren't we? So font weight, font bold will work, I believe. Let's just check out what that looks like. Is there anywhere like a font 100? Font semi-bold? Font normal? Font medium, probably? Yeah, so it's probably font medium. Okay. Great. So I'll wrap up the last bits of this, but it's one thing that I want to say is that underline is a really nice little class to make text underlined. So I just need to make this light and fix the spacing between, and then we'll get into mobile.